We're talking with astronomer and astrophysicist Dr. Hugh Ross, and we're showing you clips from his gorgeous documentary movie called Journey Toward Creation that is giving us the science, and it's animating it so that you can see what we're explaining in terms of the scientific stuff that we're talking about. We're also highlighting Genesis chapter 1. What has God told us? What is this fantastic information, and how does this jive with the scientific information? And as you're going to see, it jives beautifully. As we go on, we're going to develop this further. But let's start with the clip about the moon, because this is astonishing stuff I want you to watch.
Our moon has long mystified astronomers. It is so large relative to Earth that the Earth and Moon together are often classified as a double planet system. But studies of gravity show that no such double planet can form out of a single gas and dust cloud so close to a star as we are to the Sun. The Moon must have formed later through some unusual process. Moon exploration enabled us to confirm that lunar rocks differ chemically from Earth rocks. Through study of lunar rocks' radioactive decay, researchers discovered that the Moon is in fact nearly 100 million years younger than the Earth. In the 1990s, a theory explaining the Moon's existence gained wide acceptance in the scientific community. According to this theory, an object the size of Mars crashed into the newly forming Earth about 4.5 billion years ago. Most of the object's mass was absorbed by the Earth, but this collision also sent up a huge cloud of dust and rocky fragments all around the Earth. In time, gravity pulled those fragments together into one solid body, the Moon. The Earth, meanwhile, lost its entire atmosphere, and a new, much thinner one began to form from gases released by Earth's crustal material. Such a collision may seem a disaster, but it proved just the opposite. It set in motion certain alterations to Earth's features that eventually made this planet a uniquely suitable site for life. The odds against a collision benefiting the eventual support of human life are staggering. The planet colliding with the Earth would need to be the right size, moving at the right velocity, striking at the right angle, made of the right materials, and occurring at the right time in the development of planet Earth. If any one of these factors were off by just a few percent, the Earth would be barren today. Unless that impact had occurred, Earth's atmosphere would be much heavier than it is, even heavier than that of our neighboring planet, Venus. Venus's thick carbon dioxide-filled atmosphere would mean instant death for all possible life. The extra mass Earth gained from the collision, along with its atmospheric revision, meant that water could exist on Earth in all three states: ice, liquid, and vapor, and in huge supply. A supply absolutely essential for an efficient, consistent water cycle. And that water cycle is essential for life, both for its existence and survivability.
Hugh, when I look at that clip, I'm astonished at the scientific evidence that shows that God has created and fine-tuned our moon. And I want you to talk about more of the scientific evidence in a moment. But for some folks who have listened to some Christians who say the sun, moon, and stars weren't created until the fourth day, turns them off. Theologically, though, Genesis 1 is not saying that the moon, sun, and stars came into existence on the fourth day. What is it saying in relationship to, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth?
Well, verse 14 opens up the fourth day, and it says, let there be the great lights. It doesn't say that God made them or created them. It says, let them be. This is the first time they appear to observers on the surface of the waters. Keep in mind that's the point of view for the 6 creation days. And just like on day 1, God transformed the atmosphere from opaque to translucent, and the moon forming event had a big part in that transformation, on creation day 4, he transforms it again from translucent to transparent. Basically, all the life that God was creating on the first 3 days puts enough oxygen in the atmosphere, also changes the carbon dioxide content in the atmosphere, so now the clouds break and creatures on the surface of the earth for the first time can see the objects that are responsible for the light. And that's verse 15. Let there be the great lights so that they may serve as signs to mark seasons, days, and years. And what struck me the first time I read Genesis 1, all the life before day 4 doesn't need to know where the sun, moon, and stars are in the sky. But all the life that God creates after day 4 is sufficiently complex that they need to know the position of the sun, moon, and stars to migrate at the right time of the year, hibernate, reproduce, feed at the right time of the year. If you're a bacterium, it's not necessary. But if you're a bird or mammal, you need to know where the sun, moon, and stars are in the sky.
Yeah, so actually God is saying, let them be for the purpose of, not
Right.
let them be in the sense of coming into existence. If he was talking about let them be in terms of coming into existence, that means we would not have had a sun, we would not have had a moon in existence in those first days of creation. Now, that would have been a catastrophe in terms of gravity, wouldn't it?
Yes, without the gravity of the sun, you wouldn't have a stable solar system. Life would not be possible on planet Earth. Without the moon, you're not going to have this exquisitely fine-tuned water cycle. I mean, in Job 37, it tells us we have 16 different kinds of precipitation. And it takes precisely that moon-forming event and the way that video clip demonstrated it to get that kind of water cycle in place.
Now, let's turn to the scientific side of the tracks. Some people have tried to do more research on the moon to discredit some of the previous theories. What's happened in terms of moon research?
Well, the very latest on moon research is we're now realizing this moon-forming event is much more complex than what we thought, much more highly fine-tuned than what we thought to make life possible on planet Earth. I mean, keep in mind the primordial Earth had about 100 times as much water as it has today. This collision removed exactly the right amount of water, added enough mass to the atmosphere, transformed the atmosphere in such a way that we can have this incredibly fine-tuned water cycle that makes possible not just primitive life, but advanced life.